Fables of La Fontaine. The Oak and the Reed. The oak said one day to a river reed, "You have a right with nature to fall out. Even a wren for you's a weight indeed. The slightest breeze that wanders round about makes you first bow then bend, while my proud forehead, like an Alp, braves all, whether the sunshine or the tempest fall. A gale to you, to me a zephyr is. Come near my shelter, you'll escape from this, you'll suffer less, and everything will mend. I'll keep you warm from every storm. And yet you foolish creatures needs must go and on the frontiers of old Boreas grow. Nature to you has been, I think, unjust." "Your sympathy," replied the reed, "is kind, and to my mind your heart is good. And yet dismiss your thought. For us, no more than you, the winds are fraught with danger. For I bend, but do not break. As yet a stout resistance you can make. And never stoop your back, my friend, but wait a bit, and let us see the end." Black, furious, raging, swelling as he spoke, the fiercest wind that ever yet had broke, from the north's caverns bellowed through the sky. The oak held firm, the reed bent quietly down. The wind blew faster and more furiously, then rooted up the tree that with its head had touched the high clouds in its majesty, and stretched far downwards to the realms of the dead. Well, there you have it, the oak and the reed. What's this all about? Well, an oak tree and a river reed have a conversation, and the oak tree says, "You have a right to be angry with Mother Nature. You're so weak, a slight breeze is enough to make you fall down. Even if a little wren tried to perch on you, you'd be flattened. For you, a gale, that's like a zephyr for me. A zephyr is a very slight breeze. It's a desert breeze. So the oak says, "I'll protect you. I'll keep you warm. I'll protect you from every storm. Nature, I believe, has been unkind to you. And yet you grow where Boreas, the north wind, blows strong." So the reed says, "I appreciate what you're saying, and I know your heart is good, but don't worry about me. The wind is dangerous for all of us. I bend, but I don't break. So far, you can resist everything, but who knows what the future might bring." So, of course, as he says this, the strongest wind that ever blew comes and blows and blows and blows. The reed flattens out, is unharmed. The oak tree resists and resists and resists and eventually gets blown over and uprooted in the wind. So he reached the sky, and now he's going to reach right down to the world of the dead, the furthest anyone can travel, to paraphrase a quote from The Little Prince. So, what's this all about? Well, some of us are strong by nature, some of us are weak by nature, but nobody can resist nature. All of us have an expiration date. All of us have our strengths and weaknesses, and everybody is different. You never know. Today might be your last day on the planet, or you might live to be 120. We don't know. But another way to look at this is sometimes the right move is to bow down and just accept what the tyrant is doing. You can't fight the government with virtue. There's a famous quote, I tried to find it. Some philosopher said something along the lines of, being virtuous is no defense against a tyrannical government. And that's basically the way it is. When Galileo was arrested for heresy, no, correction, it wasn't Galileo, I don't think. Maybe it was Galileo. Maybe it was Voltaire. Or maybe it was somebody else. But anyway, they had the chance they were going to be arrested. And they said they weren't going to let tyrannical governments sin for a third time. And what they mean is Socrates, people didn't like Socrates, the government didn't like Socrates, so they drummed up some charges against him. They basically said he was corrupting the minds of the youth and he was being an atheist and things like this. It wasn't true, but they drummed up these charges because they didn't like what he was saying. He had many heterodox opinions, and just like today, if you don't have the opinion that you're supposed to have, they're going to dox you, they're going to kick you off Twitter and things like this. They're going to basically destroy your life and try to get you fired and things like this. They'll ruin your life if you don't believe what they believe. And this is what they did to Socrates. But the charges against Socrates were they were terrible, but they gave Socrates a lot of loopholes. He could have escaped, he could have moved away, his friends could have bribed people. But Socrates said, no, this is their world, I'll play by their rules. If they want me dead, I'll drink the hemlock, which contained poison that killed Socrates. And everybody was shocked, oh, why don't you just run away? And he's like, no, where am I going to go? This is me, I got to be me. So Socrates was put to death by a tyrannical government, even though they didn't really want to do it. And then the second time was Jesus. Jesus was crucified by Pontius Pilate. And even Pontius Pilate, who was the representative for the Roman Empire, he didn't really want to put Jesus to death and tried to create an escape clause, a loophole, so that Jesus could go free. So he let the people vote who to let go, and they voted, I think it was Barabbas, one of the guys that was crucified next to him. I don't know if he's the one that they let go free, but he was one of the people crucified with Jesus, I believe, if memory serves. So they let basically a thief go free and crucified Jesus. And this is what happens. You can't fight City Hall, they tell you. And your virtue, being good, being honest, being nice, is not going to defend you if they don't like the way you think, if you don't think the way they think, if you do things differently, you can't resist. You can be as honest and upright and follow the rules to a T, and they'll destroy you if they want to destroy you. And meanwhile, the other side of the coin, people can be as dishonest and deceitful, lying, play the victim, and if their politics are correct, or if they appear to be what the government likes, they can do no wrong in the eyes of the government if it's a tyrannical government, and it often is. So, this is the story of the oak and the reed. Often you hear the story that, oh, the oak is so proud and thinks he can resist everything, but there's nothing in this story that says that. That seems to be a more modern day interpretation. that, the proud will fall. Well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it's more like it doesn't matter how strong you are, you can still be crushed by either Mother Nature or a tyrannical government or whatever. There's always someone stronger than you that if they don't like you or they have it out for you, you're toast. But these reeds who just bow down, they go whichever way the wind blows, always trying to save themselves and whatnot. These people are not really the type to be looked up to. Weakness like this is not a virtue. Sure, they can survive whatever political wind blows, but they have no backbone, literally. They're just weak and can be blown over by a breeze. But governments don't really mess with these types that just lie down and do what they're told. So it's a very safe stance to take. So this story has a lot to think about. If you have anything you'd like to add, down below. This story has a lot of significance to me because I seem to be not the type of person that has the orthodox opinions that are acceptable, and if you're not liked, you're going to be destroyed. And my life has pretty well been destroyed. Who knows what the future brings, but we shall see. Anyway, till next time, goodbye. Who loves you, baby? Love you.